Deputy Chief Allen, A-L-A-N, Hamilton, H-A-M-I-L-T-O-N. I'm the Deputy Chief for Operations Valley Bureau for the Los Angeles Police Department.
Can you walk us through how did this all begin? How did you get onto this guy?
So at approximately 4:45 this evening, our Gang and Narcotics Division surveillance unit was following a homicide suspect here in the Operations Valley Bureau area. They had followed the suspect to an area nearby, attempted to initiate a traffic stop. When they tried that, the suspect fled. There was a brief pursuit. The suspect was involved in a traffic collision and he fled into this area. And I'm sorry because that gas is kind of strong. They followed him to this area. We had an air unit that was overhead that observed the suspect running through backyards, confronting neighbors. At one point, this suspect approached one of the residents in his backyard and attempted to get into an altercation with him. So our North Hollywood units that had responded to the area formed a quick perimeter. We were seeking his surrender. He continued to flee from the officers. Ultimately, moments ago, we determined that he was in a confined area here along Agnes Street, and we successfully took him into custody. Our canine officers, they gave repeated warnings to the suspect. They tried to talk him out. They attempted to have him come out. He did not respond. A subsequent search revealed that he was hiding in a small structure in the area, and he was taken into custody without incident.
We saw officers carrying a crowbar into the back as well as a battering ram. What was that like trying to get him out?
So there were areas that we did not have access to that we had to break in order to determine if he was inside of those areas.
Is this a garage or a shed? Describe the building he was in.
Yeah, so it was basically a detached structure at the back of a residence where we eventually located it.
Speak to us about the gas, the use of the gas that you're smelling.
So that was basically used in order to effect a safe arrest, safe for everyone, including the suspect. We used multiple different techniques to try to talk him out, but he never responded to any of the attempts to talk him out over the last couple of hours.
Out of the shed, did he ever enter a private home?
He never entered a residence. The only time that we actually observed him from the air unit, he was actually going from fence to fence.
And the homicide in question that spawned all this, when and where did that happen?
That was a homicide from last year, and basically one of the units that are investigating a string of homicides and robberies enlisted our Gang and Narcotics Division surveillance unit. They've been doing a long-term investigation in order to take this individual into custody. They made a determination that the individual was traveling in a vehicle today using surveillance techniques, and that's when the initial traffic stop was attempted.
So he's wanted for a string of homicides?
All I can say right now is that he is an identified homicide suspect in a crime that has occurred in the city of Los Angeles. And I believe our media relations will be releasing more information on that in the future.
Just after 6 o'clock, we heard 3 shots. Were that less than lethal? What was going on there?
That was a tactical deployment that we used in order to communicate with the suspect.
Explain what that is.
So what we do is we use various devices in order to let suspects know that we kind of have an idea of where they are, and quite often that elicits a response from the suspect. In this particular instance, that did not work out, so we used other techniques in order to get the suspect to surrender safely.
Do you believe he's a one-man crime spree, or are you seeking other accomplices?
I don't have that information at this point on this particular suspect. I believe there are other suspects that may have been engaged in criminal activity with him, but I do not have that information at this time.
Is he a gang member, an active gang member?
I also do not have that information at this time.
But do you think he's wanted for more than one homicide?
Oh, I do not know that. I know that he is wanted for a specific homicide, and that is why our Gang and Narcotics Division surveillance unit was following him.
Can you tell us where that took place?
I don't have that information either.
Okay, but last year sometime?
It was from an investigation last year. Yeah, I don't have all the information on that particular issue.
You say media relations will reveal that shortly?
I believe they'll come out with additional information on this suspect, and if he's linked to other suspects, they will release that information soon.
Any idea what drew him to this neighborhood?
I do not know why he ended up in the North Hollywood area. I know he had been under surveillance for a period of time. I think he was attempting to flee and elude the officers, and that's why he ended up in the area here near Laurel Canyon and Victory.
But you don't know if he lives in the area, has ties to this community in any way?
He does not live in this area. No, he is not a resident of this area, this immediate area of Victory and Laurel Canyon.
Can you tell us where he is from?
I believe he's from the Los Angeles area, from over the hill. Yeah, I don't know which area though specifically.
Were any residents around here in danger at any time? Did they face off with him, so to speak?
Yeah. So what occurred is he ran down the street here along Laurel Canyon Boulevard. The first fence he jumped over, he confronted a resident who was in their backyard. An altercation was kind of starting to brew up, and then he fled to another yard. Subsequently, he ran to another yard where there was someone that was outdoors. They ran into the house and secured themselves in the residence.
Did you find a weapon on this person?
We have not located any weapons.
So where he hid, people were in the house.
He was not in a residence, but the house where he was to the rear of, there were people inside of that residence, yes. We made sure they secured that residence and that residence was inaccessible for any suspects.
Any closing thoughts, sir, about how people in the neighborhood must feel knowing that this person who disrupted their evening is now in custody? So
Yeah.
many people are worried about street crime
Certainly.
and the rest.
Absolutely. So I think one of the concerns here in the community was that this individual was confronting residents in their backyard. I want to be very clear. This is the only suspect we were seeking in this, and he is in custody, and there is no danger to anyone in the area here near Victory and Laurel Canyon. However, when you're aware that the police are searching for people in your immediate community, it's always prudent to go inside, secure your residence, and stay inside, and let us do our jobs outside.
Have you got an age on this guy?
I'm sorry?
He looked kind of young. Do you have an age on him by any chance?
Oh, I do not have an age, but he is youngish. Yeah.
Hispanic? How do you describe him?
I couldn't even tell when they drove by. Yeah, I did not see him earlier.
So no name at this point either.
I do not have a name to release at this point. Yeah.
Stand by. Press release.